just.
And if we don't start.
See, we're all here.
Oh, yeah, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, everyone. Hello. I gotta talk about decorum. I don't need it. We will call the June 23rd, 2026 Faribault City Council meeting to order. Let's have a roll call.
Councilmember Barnes. Here. Dumbuya. Ross.
Here.
Rowan.
Here.
Loose.
Here.
Teal.
Here.
Mayor Spooner.
Here, and next is Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Second item tonight is approval of the agenda. Did anybody have anything changed?
Mayor Spooner?
Yes.
I don't know if I have a change or not. I just want to inquire about something, but going from memory, does the townhomes under items for discussion, do either one of those require a public hearing?
They do not require a public hearing. If Leslie would like to talk more about that.
I'm sorry, they do not require a public hearing, but what?
The public hearing is actually at the Planning and Zoning Commission through our ordinance and our approval processes.
Okay.
There is, once they make a recommendation by our Planning and Zoning Commission to you, it is not a public hearing
Not
at
a
City
second one.
Council. So is there always a ability for council to decide to change things in the future? That's always that's the beauty of our ordinances. They may always be changed.
Okay. No, thank you for the explanation.
Okay,
Mayor Spooner?
yes.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Motion by Barnes, second by Rowan. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. We have no presentation or introductions tonight. Approval of the minutes of June 9th, 2026.
Mayor Spooner?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of June 9th, 2026.
Second.
Motion by Ross, second by Van Sluis. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Before we get started tonight, I'm going to read this into a record of order. A reminder for decorum. Good evening to everyone in attendance tonight. And before we get started, I want to take this moment to outline a few items adopted from the City Council rules and procedures. Request to be heard is a time for when the public to share their comments or ideas with the City Council. This is a part of our agenda that is limited to 15 minutes, with individuals having no more than 3 minutes. Because this is a business meeting with a set agenda, the City Council cannot take action or directly engage matters brought up by individuals during this time. To communicate with City Council members outside of business meetings, we recommend attendance at upcoming council chats to be held on the second Wednesday of each month and is advertised on our website, or to contact directly through city email addresses on our city website. Our adopted rules and procedures also state that the members of the audience do not engage in clapping, stomping of the feet, whistling, using profane language, yelling, or similar demonstrations which disturb the peace and the good order of the meeting. We ask that you respect the rules that we have adopted for conducting meetings. The City of Faribault values the community's continuing engagement and involvement in city matters. We also firmly believe that respect and professional interaction are the fundamentals to building and maintaining public trust in local government. We appreciate your continued presence and greatly value your input. Thank you. The next item is to request to be heard, and as I just said, you'll have 3 minutes. Residents get to go first. Carolyn Treadway,
Good
please
evening.
state your name and address.
I'm Carolyn Treadway, 631 Southwest 4th Avenue. Last night, Faribault's Environmental Commission changed its stance from its original 2025 recommendation to the council. At that time, the Environmental Commission believed that the less rigorous Environmental Assessment Worksheet, or EAW, was adequate for assessing the environmental impact of a data center in Faribault. The Environmental Commission's latest recommendations, however, aligns with the judicial decision of the Court of Appeals and recommends that the city conduct a more comprehensive, exhaustive, and evidence-based environmental impact statement, or EIS. Following the Commission's recommendation is a better choice. It ensures the well-being of Faribault residents and our natural resources. The court concluded in its decision that the city of Faribault failed to comply with state law by offering inadequate evidence to assess the data center's environmental impact. Instead, that document relied heavily on information submitted by Archer database or data centers. Please decide tonight in your closed meeting to conduct a more exhaustive evaluation with an objectively reviewed EIS. Faribault residents deserve no less than a fair and impartial assessment of the environmental impact. Thanks.
Tom Stanley.
Sure. Hello, my name is Tom Stanley, 1008 First Street Northeast, Faribault. I would like to comment about the townhouses. I'm not sure if this is the place or the time of the meeting to do that.
Correct, it is tonight.
Okay. But that will be coming up later in your agenda. Should I wait till that point?
I'll
Or
get a chance to comment at that point.
okay, thank you. Just to be clear, I'm not in opposition of the townhouses at all, but I just think that as a city council, that it's your duty and your goal to make sure that what we do build in Faribault is curb appealing to the city and welcoming to the city and something that we can look at for years and years and years to come and be proud of. The townhouses as they're projected, I think really it's too many in a small space. They're cramming a whole bunch of buildings in a very small lot, and I think the congestion is going to be unreal. One thing you can look at when they look at the drawings that they provided is that there really isn't that much green space. There's really not that much aesthetic landscape value left other than buildings. Another concern that I have is that some of the townhouses, as the drawings and photographs that they submitted show, is that there's one-car garages in many of them. And we all know that most people have more than one car, especially when you're having a townhouse that has high rent. It's going to take two people to economically afford those rents. So basically it's two cars. I live on the service road that is adjacent to Highway 60. I've been there since 1980, and I was there when the clinic was there. And I know what happens when people try to park on that service road, and it just becomes very congested and very dangerous. The other thing is that there is no need or there is no showing of a playground for children that might be at this facility. So are they going to play on Erbling? Are they going to play on the service road? Where are they going to go? And I think that the city council has to look at that very seriously. Also, I just think that we have a chance here to build something that's very unique for this town, but we really got to step back and look, how's it going to look? When people drive into Faribault, what's their impression? Is it going to look like something that's inviting, something that is done and it looks like value to the city of Faribault, or is it just a bunch of concrete?
3 seconds, Tom.
Oh, thank you so much. Anyway, I just think that your job to make sure, you don't have to vote for this tonight. You can make a resolution, and I propose that you do a resolution to investigate the playground possibilities and study the parking needs in detail. Thank you so much.
Liz Hartman.
Is Liz Hartman, and I live at 116 Southeast 9th Avenue. I'm a member of GROW's Partners for Pollinators. We're a small but tenacious group of native plant enthusiasts working in Faribault to inspire people to have a greater appreciation for our natural world with all of its beauty and diversity. As gardeners, we know anecdotally, even without the scientific studies that bear this out, that climate change is real. And with our planet getting hotter each year, cities are being called upon to be proactive in their roles to mitigate and adapt to climate change. I feel that this is not a good time to welcome a data center into our city before oversight and proper regulations can be enacted. We don't know enough about this technology that has a potential to pollute our air and water, drain aquifers, increase climate emissions, raise our electric bills, and affect the air and water quality of our neighbors. I've always felt that Faribault was proactive in having guidelines for our climate, for climate change. And it was very disheartening to read that the Minnesota Court of Appeals agreed with each of the Minnesota Center for Environmental Advocacy's main arguments in their lawsuit against the city and Archer Data that the city violated state law by failing to adequately study the project's air pollution, its noise pollution, its greenhouse gas emissions, and its contributions to cumulative environmental impacts. I am opposed to having this 84-acre of woodland and farmland used for a data center. It's been hard for me to ignore the voices of people throughout the country that live by a data center, who are held captive inside their houses to escape the constant hum of generators. And I'll never forget the look of defeat as they talk about the noise and the light pollution and how the bees and butterflies
30
and all
seconds.
the wildlife have left. I don't want this to be our city.
You. Karen Zeller, please come forward.
Good evening. My name is Karen Zeller at 1901 Crystal Lane. And today I want to talk about the economic impact, or begin a conversation about the potential economic impact of a data center to Faribault. As you probably know, the life expectancy of the technology, that complex technology that's located inside the physical structure of the building, has a life expectancy of from 3 to 5 years. That's not real long, and you know that from your phones and everything else that you have that's technologically dependent on all of these complex patterns. So anyway, the problem then becomes the physical structure of the plant has a life expectancy of 30 years possibly, or even more. Now, Faribault will be confronted with a problem because the big corporations, billionaire corporations like Google and so forth that will be leasing the equipment, what do they do at the end when it's outdated and it's not usable anymore? Do they rip it out, put in new, or do they just move on to another city, some other place with brand new facilities, brand new data, complex computers? And then we have a physical plant. And what are we going to do with that physical plant? How will we maintain it? Consider the fact that the amount of money that will have to go into improving our infrastructure projects, city of Faribault right now uses 3.3 to 4 million gallons of water a day. That's what our city uses. And you know from my previous talk, a data center of this magnitude uses anywhere from 2.5 to 3 to 5 million gallons a day. What does that do to our infrastructure here? Who's paying for this? How is it going to be handled? And then in the future, what's going to happen? Now, you might say, well, we're going to have TIF financing, but I'm not going to get into that. That's very complicated. But that doesn't last forever. But the people that run these data centers, what happens to them when the people that are leasing it are gone? 30 seconds, okay. Also, I just wanted to point out the fact that many economists think this is a bubble. And a bubble happens when people pay way more money for something, for the land that they're using, than the land is actually worth, like the housing industry. What happened? It burst. And many economists think that that's what's going to happen here, too. So I really feel that Faribault needs to do a moratorium. We need to study this. We need to look at other cities that are putting up with these. Thank you.
John Steffens.
Council, I'm John Steffens, 1347 174th Street. I am with these people that Karen and the previous spoke to me. We need to put a moratorium on this data center. It's not good for the city with what Karen just said, with all the water, the electricity that we're going to be using. We don't have the infrastructure. Who's going to pay for the infrastructure? You know, some of us will be gone. The younger people will be having to pay for that for years on end. And what is this data center going to do? How many people are they going to employ just to run it? Okay, you might build, you might have 400 or 500 people building the dang thing, but who's going to run it? 4 or 5 people? That's not bringing employment to the city and having these people rent apartments, buy houses, buy cars. They're going to go elsewhere, or they'll probably live in the cities and commute down. I feel we need to put a moratorium on this and just actually kibosh this whole data center project. Thank you.
I have time for one non-resident. That concluded our residents. One non-resident, Elizabeth Wright.
Hey, Elizabeth Wright, 5351 Elkton Trail. I've spoken before, and my arguments are the same. I think that Faribault kind of jumped on the gravy train here maybe a little prematurely on the data center. And I'd like to just say all that glitters is not gold. This is kind of like the Great Wild West right now, and there's a big push to get data centers literally everywhere. And I don't think that Faribault should be on the cutting edge of this technology. I think this would put us on the bleeding edge of technology. If we could count on Archer Data Center doing the utmost to preserve the environment, that would be one thing. But because they high-stepped through what little environmental study they had to do, to the effect that the court knocked them down, it really undermines trust for them going forward. And I would be strongly in favor of a moratorium until the citizens understand what the benefits are, which I cannot see for this community, and so that we can be assured that enforcement will take place also. Because you can have all the regulations in the world, and if the state doesn't enforce, or if the city doesn't enforce, or if the county doesn't enforce, it's not going to do us any good after the fact. Thank you.
You. That concludes our 15 minutes of requests to be heard. Moving on to item 6, consent agenda items. Would anybody have anything on? None? I just want to make the record show that I will be abstaining from 6I. I will vote All right, at this time, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Teal, second by Van Sluis for items 6A through 6K. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? They are passed. On to public hearings. We have a couple tonight. First item is use of small cities development program, retrofitting streetlights. Jessica Kinzer, you are listed.
Yes, most of what I have to say really needs to happen in the actual public hearing, as we're required to get some details into the minutes of the meeting. But this is our citizen participation plan, which you approved at the June 9th meeting, uses a public hearing as a way to not only share information, but gather information from the public on the proposed use of the program income from the Small Cities Development Program.
Okay, so then at this point in time with that, I'm assuming there's no questions. None. So I will entertain a motion to open public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Van Sluis, second by Teal. All those in favor of going into public hearing, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That passes. We are now in public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak on this matter, please come forward. State your name and address.
Could I make our statements
Yes,
first?
okay.
Okay, and I'm gonna just read from what was in the memo because really there are very specific things that have to be included. The city of Faribault is proposing to use program income from the Small Cities Development Program, or SCDP, grant received in 2009 for the retrofitting of city-owned decorative street lighting in the central business district to LED light fixtures. Starting January 1, 2025, all screw-in light bulbs that are not LED can no longer be ordered in Minnesota. Existing inventories of light bulbs could still be sold, and the city did purchase additional screw-in light bulbs, knowing that a project was not planned at that time for the retrofitting of the streetlights. This project is to retrofit the existing decorative poles from a screw-in bulb to an integrated light fixture. This work will occur in the Central Business District, which is an area encompassing most of what is referred to as downtown. A map of this area can be found on the city's website. The taxpayers of Faribault will benefit from this project by seeing reduced electricity costs paid from the general fund of the city, and business and property owners, residents, and visitors will benefit from this project with more energy-efficient lighting in the Central Business District. This project is not proposed to displace any residents. The estimated cost of this project is $432,000. The SCDP program income is $330,607, leaving a balance of $101,393. The cost not covered by the program income will come from the fund balance of the SCDP fund that is not program income. This project will go through the required procurement process in late 2026 or early 2027, with planned completion of the retrofitting to an LED fixture expected to be complete by year-end 2027.
All right. At this point in time, I'll open it up for public hearing on any comments on that.
Understand.
Anyone care about lights? All right. Okay. Oh, my God. I've seen it all now. Can't do it. All right, at this point in time, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Barnes, seconded by Ross. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are out of public hearing. Any comments, questions, or?
I just have a couple of general questions. Are we changing the actual light fixture itself or just the illumination part of it?
So currently, it is a screw-in bulb, so that element is going to go away, and there's going to be like a LED fixture head that's going to be attached to it.
So we're not changing the whole entire fixture as a structure or anything?
Correct. The poles are very expensive,
Yeah.
so there will be no poles that will be changed. It'll just be the head on the top of it.
Will we still, I think right now we have them capped so that the light doesn't go up. Is that correct?
That's correct. And the goal would be
There's a
that,
term for that. I don't remember what it is.
night, I can't think of, like, night preserving or
Oh,
something.
whatever, but we're still gonna have
Dark
that where
sky.
the light is forced to shine down and not up,
That is
right?
what we're targeting, is basically an LED fixture that will shine down rather than up.
Okay, I'm good. Thank you, Mayor.
Any other questions? This time I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Spooner,
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
But there actually is no approval. It is literally just holding the public hearing that needs to happen on this one.
We don't have to take it.
Nope, no actions are needed besides holding the public hearing.
So it was there all this easy. All right, moving on to Hill Block TIF items. We have 2 items for discussion here. I believe we'll have 1 presentation. My script says Jake. Are you coming forward? Yes, Jake Wench, Economic Development Coordinator.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor Spooner, and the public. Glad to be before you all tonight and braving this storm that's going on outside. So this is a project that's been before you multiple times, whether it's in work sessions, before the EDA, before the HRA. Tonight, we're looking to establish Tax Increment Finance District 21, or the Hill Block, and adopt a Tax Increment Finance Plan, therefore authorizing an interfund loan as well. With that, I'll just give a brief overview of what the project is again. This hasn't changed from our last work session that I outlined it for you all and gave preliminary approval to continue to move forward with it. So this is a redevelopment of 3 historic downtown buildings. It would be 217, 219, and 223. Many of you actually did a tour of these buildings a couple months back now and saw the multiple floors, the commercial space, or the lack thereof commercial space, and then the vacant space and the potential residential. So with that, this redevelopment is looking to bring 19 additional, or create 19 apartment units within those spaces. 6 of those are intended to be short-term rentals. It's also intended to create roughly a little over 9,000 square feet of commercial space on the ground floor. With that, to move forward and through this process, the city did contract with LHB, which is a firm that does blight analysis. It was determined that these properties do meet the blight criteria, and for that, we are able to move forward on creating a redevelopment TIF. Going through the process, there's also additional funding that would be coming not from this entity, but potentially from the HRA and EDA as well. We discussed those parameters and outlines, and those will be voted on in future meetings. So what is before you tonight is the TIF plan. So the TIF plan really sets the project objectives and the district boundaries. Like I mentioned, it's 217, 219, and 223 central. It establishes a maximum budget, the authority that the TIF establishes a maximum budget to be used within the TIF district. So when you talk about TIF, right now, if you look at those buildings, that would be considered the base level of the tax increment. By creating this tool, that increment on the redevelopment would be captured specifically within that district, and then those dollars could be used for eligible costs within that district. We've discussed that in the past. If there's any additional questions on that too, I can give you additional information. The second resolution is the interfund loan resolution. This allows the city to advance eligible costs such as admin, site preparation, and infrastructure, and reimburse itself later only when available tax increment is realized within that district. So in short, tonight, these 2 resolutions establish the district and the budget framework. The specific developer assistance is set separately and comes later for approvals. If there's any questions, and then this is a public hearing.
We're gonna have discussion after the public hearing too. I'll wait till after the public hearing.
Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Roan, second by Ross to go into public hearing.
Aye.
All opposed? We are in public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak on this matter, please come forward. State your name and address. This time I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
By Van Sluis, second by Teal, is that correct? Brown. Okay, all those in favor to close public hearing signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Out of public hearing, Mr. Ross, you have a comment.
Just, Jake, the possible funding from HRA and EDA, are those still intended to be loans
Yes.
and not forgivable?
Yep, they're intended to be low-interest loans, and talking with our
Okay,
attorney
so it's-
before, yep,
So this is basically the only funding the city is giving them that doesn't have to be repaid back.
correct.
It is just generated from the increase in the tax base from where we are and where we'll end up when they're completed, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. No more questions.
Thank you. Jake, it's my understanding that not much work has been completed. If that's true, is that due to the blight study?
No work can be completed before this is approved, otherwise they do not meet the but-for clause. So but for this assistance, this project would not be possible. I believe it's about $11.5 million project. So this assistance plus the additional assistance from the EDA and HRA would fill about 9% of the total project cost. So but for this assistance, this project would not happen, and potential taxes in the future would not be realized.
Clarifying. And I do support this because, again, I always have said downtown is our heart. It's our heart of the city. We need to protect it and revitalize it. And if this doesn't happen now, I don't see anything happening. I don't want to lose any of our downtown. We are the second oldest, biggest city in the state of Minnesota.
So last time we talked about this, I was under the impression that they were going to make substantial completion by the end of summer, or did I misunderstand?
I don't have the current update on the timeline. Obviously, there's still procedural things to go through with this being approved. And then in future meetings, future months with EDA and HRA approvals. So I believe the timeline would be slightly delayed.
Define slightly.
I
6
don't
months,
have
12
that,
months,
but the
2 years?
developer is here if they're allowed to speak.
I have no problem with that. I don't know how my colleagues feel.
Okay, this time I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Teal, second by Barnes. All those in favor of resolution 2026-192, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
That resolution passes. On to the second item, resolution 2026-193. Any questions for staff on this?
Mayor Spooner.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-193.
Second.
Motion by Ross, second by Van Sluis on resolution 2026-193. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
That motion passes. Item 8, items for discussion. First item up is ordinance 2026-9, regulations regarding cannabis and hemp business in the city of Faribault. Heather Schlechter.
Mayor and city council members, thank you. At the June 2nd city council work session, the council was in favor of updating our cannabis ordinance to allow for the low potency hemp edibles to be issued by the city clerk and city administration office. And so that's what I'm bringing forward tonight is for that approval. Along with that change, there was just a few minor definition changes to align our current ordinance with statute. So if you have any questions, I'll gladly answer.
Thank you, Mayor. Heather, this would include things such as edibles and beverages, things like that. This
Anything
isn't
that falls under that low potency
the
hemp
low potency.
edible.
It's not covering the flour and stuff that they sell in the stores. It's just the the stuff that's going to be sold at convenience stores, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it,
Yeah,
correct?
it's the low potency hemp.
Okay, thank you. No more, Mayor.
Other questions? This time I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Spooner.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-9.
Second.
Motion by Ross, second by Teal. All those in favor of? Roll call. I could have told you that.
Councilmember Barnes.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Rowan.
Aye.
Enslus.
Aye.
Teal.
Aye.
Mayor Spooner.
Aye, that passes. On to Faribault Townhomes, 924 First Street East. For the record, I would like the record to show, due to conflict of interest, I cannot participate in this. And I will be leaving and passing the gavel to Vice Mayor Barnes.
Ms. Leslie McGilvray-Rivas is presenting this resolution.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you, sir, for council people for having this hearing, or lack of hearing application. Faribault Townhomes as 924 First Street Northeast. We are reviewing their preliminary and final plat, their conditional use permit, variances, and a common interest community CIC plat. The applicant is here along with his development partners, Dan Gatchell with ThinkBiz LLC. Location, which I'm sure you're familiar with, some more than others. There is 2 parcels which are north of 60th, Highway 60. There is Earlbank Avenue and First. This is actually almost 3 parcels. The top parcel was administratively combined. So it's a tax parcel, but it actually is 2 parcels. It is the site of the former Mayo Alina site. This is in an established neighborhood of varying densities. The zoning map demonstrates to you it is currently zoned as a C2 property, which is highway commercial. Under that ordinance, that allows a multifamily application to come forth with the conditional use permit, which is the reason we're here before you this evening. So the mix of residential properties in this area are primarily the R1, single-family residential, some lower density, and a little bit higher density with R4 to the west. Request of the applicants is combine and replat all the properties into 1 parcel for development efficiency. Again, the C2 zoning, the multifamily proposal is required with the conditional use. There are very few variance requests of this. This is going to happen in 2 specific locations where a reduction is 5 foot on certain side yards and front yards. And then the CIC plat is to further subdivide the property to allow for a little bit flexibility in how the property is maintained and under ownership or maintenance of the development team. So as noted before, the preliminary and final plat, 2 existing parcels on the north side, 1 parcel on the south. The proposal is to combine them all into 1 property. The final plat shows that there will be a cross-access easement with the proposed private drive that will bisect lot. Not a city street. So the conditional use permit shows this illustration, the general layout. There is a mix of 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, and so forth. There is a mix of a variation of the units, so it's not a uniform character, which you might remember from a previous proposal that was approved. So this provides a little bit more of flexibility for different types of family sizes, characters of the family makeup, age groups, so on and so forth. Most of the properties are fronted on the private drive that exit onto 3rd Street and Earlbank. There are some properties that exit directly from their driveways on 1st Street. And the property that's to be commonly owned, managed. The green spaces, anything outside of the gray areas that you see here They are proposing to do a combination of both surface runoff cross and some underground piping to use for the infiltration bioswales and basins that bisect the site. There is going to have to be, just because of the change in topography, some structures with, in addition to the houses themselves or the multifamily structures, in the form of retaining walls. And there is in addition to both the in-garage and driveway parking, but also 7 visitors parking spaces on the site. Handicap accessibility will be maintained on the site and will be under review at the point of the building permit application. Requirement. The fire chief has requested that the 24-foot wide private drive be signed for no parking. And so the footprint or the elevation of the 6 buildings, they differ in scale, size, scope, and arrangement. Why they have one overreaching roof structure, there is a mixed facade treatment for each building. Shows the different scope and scale. The largest building is number 3, and then it sort of steps out from that. Here's the aerial or bird's eye view of the proposal from the applicant, which they provided from their architectural consultant, showing the general availability of parking both in front of the units, and they do meet the parking requirements for the bedroom units that they're proposing entirely on the site, with the addition of the areas of visitor parking to be considered extra. They will be proposing the variance request as shown. Predominantly, the proposal does conform to all of our ordinances. The modest request that they're asking for is in this location, is the 5 feet from a corner side yard setback, and this area here, like there's the front is reduced another 5 feet from 25 to 5. Not bad. So the CIC plat, which is a different form that you may not have seen recently, it allows the properties to create different quantities of units so that each dwelling is a unit unto itself. There are, with that requirement, is the need for covenants and bylaws to be provided to us so that we have the ability to review it so that the property, whether it's combined and owned by one single entity or whether it's conveyed or to multiple or individuals, the common areas the owners have the ability to use the property and have the cross access, but also that it's up to a certain standard of aesthetic and maintenance and property. So again, the plat, the criteria is met for granting preliminary and final plat approval. The criteria is met for granting the CUP for multifamily in a C2 highway commercial district. We feel the criteria is met for granting the variances and the practical difficulty of the site. As I mentioned before, the difficulty in the change of grade, the irregular arrangement of the lot itself, and has made a reasonable request for the 5-foot reduction. And the criteria is met for the CIC plats. In summary, we feel this proposal is interesting and unique, and there are many attributes for it, and it meets zoning requirements. Now, the staff received no public comments prior or after publishing the Planning Commission report. The applicant did conduct their own independent neighborhood meeting. That testimony we received feedback at the Planning Commission at the hearing. There were concerns, I would say, in summary of the following: concerns with the steep grade and potential with grading or drainage occurring across neighboring properties, the concern with excessive traffic being generated by the residents or visitors to this potential community. I think In addition, I think the density was in question. I think the access onto, into the cul-de-sac to the north was also a concern for some. And I think that there is just a concern with pressure and development density. So our recommendation, staff is, and what the Planning Commission has also endorsed, is that we recommend council approve the following resolutions. We would recommend that you would take these into account individually, so you choose. But we also understand that there are maybe an opportunity or a request for additional information. So in your packet, we offer these alternative potential movements as well. So if you feel that you are not ready to make a motion, or need more information from any of these applications or of the developer or staff, you can certainly delay your motion while we do more fact-finding, or you reach a comfort level where you can make a decision. If you don't see merit in the proposals and you want to deny, then you would need to give a direction to city staff on specifics why the resolutions specifically show a support, and it's best that we come back with those recommendations if that's going to be an action that you're going to consider.
You want me to start?
Yeah.
All right, I'll start. Is the applicant here also?
The applicant and the development team is here.
Okay, would somebody from that mind joining you? They don't
Not
have
public
to.
hearing, so I think there needs to be general consensus that you allow to be heard.
That the applicant come forward to answer questions?
Certainly can, if you wish it to be.
I'm
just
okay with it.
Okay.
So what is the applicant, you can state your name and.
My name is Mike Cappers. I'm with Rebound Partners.
Thank you. So I think this would be a, may I just call you Leslie, please?
Yes, please, that's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Aside from anything else you could call me, that's great.
So Leslie, really the only thing that we'd have to deny, the only grounds we'd have to deny this project is really the 5-foot variance. Is that correct? I mean, the CUP change and the change from commercial to residential, we've made those changes many, many, many times throughout the city. So there's kind of a precedence there, wouldn't you say?
Well, I think the consideration of staff, I think there was a little bit of heartburn between once the buildings themselves are divided up, doesn't that make them single family? I think is the question that you're getting at.
No, I'm just referring to, really the only thing we could deny is the variances.
I feel that there is supportable criteria for all of it. The denial of the variance, I really don't know what that would do to the site plan. It's
And I'm not proposing that we deny on the variance. I'm just saying really that's the only thing. Everything else is really pretty basic. And it's kind of like when Quick Trip built their new store out there. They never came before us because everything fit neatly into their little box. We didn't have to do anything different, correct? And really that's almost like this project in that the CUP and stuff is almost automatic because of past precedents in our practice. So really, it's just the small variances about what they're asking for. Okay. Just, if you don't mind, I got a couple questions for you.
Yes, sir.
This is usually backwards from the way these projects seem to start out, but you're creating a CIC. Now, this isn't a PUD, this is a CIC, in common terms, it's a condo association.
Correct.
Correct? Are the buildings gonna have one water meter?
They'll be individually metered.
Oh, they will be individually metered for each home?
Correct.
Okay, okay. And the plots, the individual plots will just basically be around the structure of the home itself and probably not stick out
Right,
more
the
than
zero
a
lot
few
line
feet,
between the
something like
townhomes, correct.
Okay. The roads, you know, they call them access, you know, roads or whatever. They're basically private streets, correct?
Correct.
Is there gonna be any-
25-foot private roads.
Is there going to be any curb and gutter there, or I don't know what you call it, but just at least the
I don't know if
dish,
it's curb and gutter or if it's the,
probably the dished.
yeah, do you know offhand?
I believe it is curb and gutter. So
Really?
I don't know that
Inside?
I don't know that it's drive over curb. I think that, but I believe it's shown on our grading plan.
Okay, okay. And it looks pretty tight, so there's no way to make those private streets any wider. I realize they're typically a private street in a development like this is usually narrow, much narrower than a city street would get approved for and everything.
Yeah,
Typical. But there's really, everything's pretty tight here, so we can't really request you to make the street a little wider for any type of parking or anything, correct? It just doesn't have the room.
correct. And there's, in addition to the parking garages, the driveways are extra long to fit long trucks or big SUVs.
Okay, yeah, that was
Doing
my
it
other
side.
question. Is some of these are single garage, some are two stall
The
garage?
majority are two-car garage, and then there's an additional 7-car parking stalls.
Okay, okay. But they do have room for cars to stack?
Correct.
In the driveway, at least one or two?
Stacked side by side, and they can be the extra-long vehicles. They're like 25-plus feet.
Okay, so not stacked front to back or in tandem?
Correct, side to side.
Okay. Now, because you're creating, you know, basically the condominium format here, do you plan on selling these to the, in the future?
That's kind of the reason we did it. You don't know what the interest rates are going to do in the future. You know, are more people going to rent in the future? Will people want to buy it? You know, so kind of what we plan for is what's it going to be like in 7 to 10 years.
Yeah, it does give you flexibility.
Right.
Okay. I do like that part of it. I like the part that you've looked ahead and at least have a mechanism to efficiently sell them off. I think that's a big help, but yeah, I really don't see much to deny this for. Between all of our past presidents and just a minor 5-foot variance request, I don't have a problem with it. I guess I just don't see much. I mean, I'd like to see a different design, but you know, that's not my request. You know, that's not my prerogative to request that. But I wish the access point wasn't on 3rd Street. But again, you know, not necessarily my prerogative to demand that it come through a different way when they own the land and it's laid out the way it is. So.
And make one more point
Yes.
to that, just what you were saying. In one of the motions for the CUP, Commissioner Ackerman at the Planning Commission did make a recommendation, a request of you to direct city staff to the adjoining neighborhoods to make sure that there was egregious or pressure.
And
And it's not part of the approval of the
And what would we do, study the traffic on Erbling and 3rd Street?
I believe that was the intention. It wasn't recommended as a condition of approval, but the testimony at the Planning Commission, that was a repeated theme, was the traffic and concern that people will be parking on the public roadways that don't have parking of cars currently, that could be overflow parking by their community here.
And there is no parking on 1st Street, is that correct? Police officer in the crowd? I'm pretty certain, not positive, but pretty certain that there's no parking on 1st Street. So parking will be tight for your tenants and potential owners, but sadly, in either a PUD or a condo, a CIC, that's kind of a typical pain that the people that live there have to put up with. I think that's all my questions. I don't see any others.
Rowan?
I got two questions. So is this going to be market rate if you make these into rentals?
That's correct, market rate rentals.
Okay. And Attorney Riggs, so I know that Councilmember Ross was talking about tradition and the way we have historically done stuff, but it's still, what is our legal responsibility here? We're not obligated to replat this from commercial to C2, correct? Or from C2?
We're not obligated to do anything, the reality is. The bottom line is, Councilmember Ross is correct, that you have approved other projects similarly situated in the city. You have recommendations from the planning staff that show and meet the requirements of what our code is, but the council can always Leslie's pointed that out. You have that ability to do it. If you want further study, or if you want to review this differently, or you do have other provisions you need research, you have that prerogative.
I'd like to make a motion to give us more time on this before approving it.
I actually have a question, so maybe we'll put that on hold. Mr. Cappers,
Cappers,
correct?
yes, thank you.
Just, so I will eat my words because I've always said I'm not in supporter of rentals. I would love home ownership versus rentals. So my question is probably the obvious answer. It's probably finances. Why choose rental versus or purchase units?
It's the biggest need of the community is market rate rentals, and we're looking to market it to police officers, teachers, firefighters, and kind of the supervisor type level people in your communities. And right now, that's the biggest need is market rate rentals, according to your Maxfield study that you just finished.
As far as rentals, is there any way that any of them could be sublet? Rentals being rented?
I don't believe the management company or leasing company allows people to sublet.
And with that management company, is there someone on the property in the area, or is it through a management company?
I guess I'm not sure exactly how the management company does it, but they're right in the area, and with 37 units, they probably don't have anybody on site unless they happen to hire somebody that they rent to or something as a property manager. I'm not sure.
And I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm thinking with the rental unit, there won't be any HOA fees. It'll all go into the rent price for the management.
That is correct.
Okay. Onto like snow removal, I noticed that it is pretty tight up in the neighborhood. I do see there's some runoff areas, there's a filtration basin. Do we know if there's a big snowstorm, where is the snow going to go?
I believe most of it would get pushed in up to the hillside. It'd be the far north corner there.
The far north?
Right in there. Otherwise, they could truck it out as well.
Okay. I think that would probably be the only option,
Yeah.
depending on the snow amount, obviously. That's all I had for my questions. Back to Council Member Rowan. Anyone wanted to second his motion?
I think it died.
Okay. I will take a motion then to approve the resolution.
Can I just make a quick comment?
Yes.
So quarterly, the council meets with the school board, the superintendent, the Rice County Commissioners, HRA, the EDA, the Vision Task Force at the Chamber of Commerce. We meet quarterly. And the number one issue, I've said this 100 times, and the number one issue in our town is housing. The number one issue amongst all those people. So it's not just us 6, 7 up here. It's all of these people believe that the number one issue is housing. So I just wanted to make that very, very apparent that we need these houses. We absolutely need these houses because this is the number one issue with the school board, the superintendent, the county commissioners, the HRA, the EDA, the Vision Task Force, and other people. Okay, so I am in favor of this. And I'll make a motion to approve it. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I don't have a question, I have a comment. And I know there were some issues with some residents. You got some emails and phone calls about this. But I personally think that this is a good addition to the neighborhood. We've had some years ago, there was a big issue with a big apartment building that people wanted to build there. And we decided, together with the neighborhood, that it was way too big to put it in there. But I think this is a nice project. And if we were to deny it, maybe somebody else will come with another apartment building. So I'm in favor of this.
Motion by Thiel. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Can we identify the resolution? Chuck, can you?
Oh, yeah, I make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-186.
Motion by Teal, second by Von Sluis. You guys have your takes mixed up, so I had to do a double look. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes. Second resolution, 2026-187.
Vice Mayor? I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-187.
Ross, second by Von Sluis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes. On to the next resolution, 2026-188.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-188.
Second.
Motion by Teal, second by Van Sluis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes. On to the next resolution, 2026-189.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-189.
Motion by Van Sluis,
Second.
second by Teal. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes. Next resolution, 2026-190. Yep, sorry. Back to Ms. Leslie. I'm going to hand the gavel back over to Mayor Spooner. Welcome back.
And just for clarification, I actually live right next door to this project. There's nothing, that's the reason I step aside, is I'm the house right next door to it, so. All right, on to the final item for discussion, Resolution 2026-190, application for public art mural. Leslie, once again.
I'm just going to suggest a brief summary. The Friendship House Guardians at Rice County Health and Human Services are working with a local mural artist. The location where the mural is to be placed is adjacent, sort of what has become sort of a community park without it being a park. They have put in gardens and a gazebo, a pergola, seating. Many people in the community have been able to use it. So on a very blank wall that lacks adornment and does not really do anything to enhance that environment, there was an application made to you to create a mural, which is very simple and, yeah, it's not going to work. That is just purely aesthetic. We have some guidelines which probably need a little bit of fine tuning in our mural guideline policy, but based on the mission statement provided to you by the Friendship House administrators, and because we are a community who supports arts and all things that benefit our downtown adjacent areas, we are recommending you approve this proposal.
Yes, any questions for staff?
Thank you, Mayor. Was the HPC consulted or included in this?
This is actually outside of the central business district.
On the other
by
side
a street,
of the...
right? It's across the street. So we did look into that too. So that,
okay.
we would have if we had needed to. If we can, I guess.
Now, all the other murals that we've approved, except the one in the 200 block of Central where they painted the back. The rest of them have all been
On wood.
on some kind of a substrate, and then apply, and then the substrate screwed to the building. Is this directly on the brick?
This is directly on the, it's a CMUs, the concrete block. So it's not a old-fashioned brick facade. It's
Okay.
actually CMU units. So the surface is actually already painted with the
Okay, it
beige
is
paint
CMU,
on
huh?
it. So this was brought before a design review committee, and there was no objection to one of the bullet points on our mural guidelines are that it's put on wood, but because it's already a painted surface, that seemed a little
Yeah,
extra.
yeah.
So
I understand, thank you. No more questions, Mayor.
I just have a comment. I think it looks nice right
Mayor Spooner.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-190.
Second.
Motion by Ross, second by Van Sluis. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion passes. We are on to bids tonight. First bid tonight is Resolution 2026-197 for the storage garage carpentry package. Mr. Director Mark Duchesne.
Mr. Mayor, if it's okay, I'd like to just present on all
Correct.
four
I was
packages,
gonna
and
ask
then
you
we'll
that.
address
You
them
got
one
it.
at a time?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. Council members, before you tonight are 4 resolutions to approve 4 separate bid packages for the construction of the utility garage down at Viaduct Park. This is a 26 by 30 two-stall garage, basically, to house the resurfacer equipment for the proposed refrigerated ice sheet down at Viaduct Park, as well as provide some workspace and storage for other small tools and equipment. As you recall, we were here about a month ago, a little over a month ago, with originally bidding this project as one large package to one general contractor. The low bid underneath that original bid package came in at $622,600. Council's direction was to reject those bids and find some cost savings. We did that through some refinement of the project scope. We also split this up into 4 separate bid packages, removing some of the contractor overhead and bidding requirements by putting them in smaller packages to hopefully attract some smaller contractors that may not have quite the high overhead costs and other project costs that contributed to those high original bids. We were successful. The sum of the 4 low bids that were received for these 4 packages comes in at just over $373,000. So it's just under $250,000 savings from the original bid. So with that, we are recommending that the bids be awarded to Trimo Development for the carpentry package. They were the low bid out of 4 bids on the carpentry package at $115,000. The high bid went up to $170,800. We also are recommending award to Trimo Development on the plumbing package. They were the sole bidder on that package at $115,000. Trimo Development was also the low bidder on the electrical package at $70,460. They were one of 3 bidders on that bid package, with the high bid at $92,500. And then lastly, we're recommending award on the concrete masonry bid to Healy Construction for $72,650. They were one of 5 bids that we opened. However, it was determined in reviewing the bids that the low bid was a non-responsive bid. The bidder had an error in it and alerted the city of that error right after the bid opening. We did review and investigate the error to make sure it wasn't just somebody with bidder's regret, and we do confirm that there was a bid error in there. So Healy ended up being the low bid there at $72,650. The high bid of the 4 remaining bid packages was $111,200. So with that, we are recommending council award the 4 resolutions before you. This project will be project managed by Keith Walker, our park superintendent. So Keith will be coordinating with the 2 contractors on getting this bid package constructed. The goal is to have the garage done by September 15th, so as it ties into the timeline for the rest of the park improvements down there.
All right, thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Mayor. What is the structure? Is the structure brick, your block, or
It's a wood frame structure
wood frame?
on a full concrete foundation. It'll have a hardy board siding that will be matching to the main building down there, or complementary in color is probably a better way to put it. And then it will have an asphalt shingled roof.
Oh, any idea, or did we ever look into how much extra it would be to just make it out of block?
We did not, but given the soils down there and the additional loading from a block structure, the foundation costs and stuff would have gone up. I don't think there's a whole lot different between the actual building materials, but the foundation costs would probably increase.
Okay,
that.
but we are going to be conscious about making it aesthetically
Yes.
similar to.
Yes, yes. There's hardy board siding on the main building there. And then we originally looked at a metal roof for this structure, but the metal roofing prices were one of the cost savings that were investigated, and we think that putting on just an architectural shingle that will match the same color as the existing roof on the existing building, as well as, the ice shelter cover building is going to have a metal roof. So they will also be complementary across the 3 structures.
Okay, thank you. No more, Mayor.
I don't have a question, more of a comment. We have a real gem in Keith Walker, and for him to step up and volunteer to do this is saving our town $250,000. So just a special shout out to Keith for stepping up and just adding to his regular workload. So thank you very much, Keith.
Good savings by the city to take this on. This time I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Spooner. Make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-179.
Second.
Motion by Teal, second by Ross. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. On to Resolution 2026-180.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-180.
Second.
Motion by Van Sluis, second by Barnes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. On to
I make a motion to pass Resolution 2026-181.
Second.
Barnes, second by Van Sluis, in favor of Resolution 2026-181.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. And the last
Mayor Spooner.
Yes, Ross.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-182.
Second.
Motion by Ross, second by Teal. All those in favor
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Boards, commission reports, announcements. Anything? I just got a shout out to city staff and Heritage Days Committee. It was a really fun event a week and a half ago. Lots of people were downtown. It was, we got good weather, and hats off to everybody. So, thank you all who are involved. All right, before we adjourn, I would just also like to read this into the record. Directions for going into a closed session. Before we adjourn our regular city council meeting, I want to provide some information related to 2 closed sessions we are holding tonight. But first, I would also like to have Scott Riggs make a few comments on closed sections and why cities have them. Mr. Riggs.
Mayor. Yes, it's generally to preserve the attorney-client privilege and also allow the council to have direct communications with your attorney, whether it's myself or another attorney, which we have another attorney you'll be dealing with, and he is his firm are representing the legislature allows that to make sure you get candid legal advice and you can make candid questions and provide direction to your attorneys. Doesn't mean that that information won't eventually come out in some form. It may not, but the reality is whatever you direct your city attorneys to do likely will show up either at a later meeting or another action you see. It really is protect and allow you to have very candid discussions, very detailed discussions.
That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Following the conclusion of this open city council meeting, we will move into the public meeting room next door. The public will have access to this meeting until the city council has voted a motion to go into closed session. We will then come back to the city council chambers if you choose. You can then come back to the city council chambers. Then after the city council has voted on a motion to go back into open session, we will open the doors for the public meeting room, where we will have a motion to adjourn. when we have not published or any deliberations or potential actions on this agenda, and therefore, we will not be taking any action following this closed session tonight. Same process will be used for the second closed session. At this point in time, I will entertain a motion to close this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Van Sluis, second by Roan. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed.